And I'm depressed. Like, Philip, come over here. Josh, can you set that one camera, like to all of us, and just join us as well? Of course you do. When did you see me doing anything in a democratic manner? Like, right. So, let's take our time for a prayer of presence. You guys want 1 minute or 2 minutes? Mm. Okay, and then after that, I'll just. Josh, are you going to join us for the prayer of presence, or? Yeah. All right. I'll give a little bit of few of these guidelines, grounding guidelines through it, but those are cool shoes. You just saw it like that. Okay, gentlemen, 2 minutes. Close your eyes. Clear your hands. Feel the concrete under your feet. Back of the chair. Leaning into your shoulder blades. Breathe in and become aware of your heart beating. Let thoughts just leave. Don't hang on to them. They'll come and go. And now just take your gaze up and look toward God. And see Him smiled and happy and joyful that we're here together. And say nothing. Just enjoy His smile. Let thoughts go. Don't hang on to them. Dear Lord, thank you for being here with us today. We know you're here. We know you're with us all the time. We know that your Spirit is just waiting for us to open up so we can receive the wisdom and guidance and grow. And it's not about you not being around, it's about us. So this morning we are here. And we thank you. We know that we will leave changed. We will learn something new and we'll get closer to you. And this day is going to be much different than what we anticipated. Amen. Okay, cool. So this is what we'll do. First, I'll just get up and there just to change some slides. So, and you really try to keep the food off of my laptop, okay? You.
Oh yeah, I didn't touch.
Huh?
I didn't touch the one. My left hand's my food hand, my right hand's my working hand.
There was meat
Really?
on the keyboard.
My fault.
Shocker. Like do you base that on him or on his plate? Is it like the brutal, straight up bitter?
Probably. It's like black as heck.
Oh, let's see if they have. Let me see if they have butter. I'm gonna make myself a. No, dude, bulletproof. Crap. It's completely empty. Yeah. Never mind. No, no coffee for me today. You should seriously try the bulletproof coffee. It's amazing. Not just in the context of taste, but in effectiveness. Like you don't get spike. You never get that caffeine spike, and you never get caffeine crash.
I never get caffeine crash either. I'm drinking some coffee does nothing for me.
Coffee is more like a.
I have coffee every day at work and it doesn't jack for me. This is enough coffee.
Well, just smelling it. Oh, that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right. So last week we talked about identity. So the concept of the divine reprogramming of our identity. If you don't remember what we talked about, just go kind of revisit the YouTube video. But today, I would like us to talk about the concept of ability. And the reason why is because, like one of the things that we mentioned when we were talking over there, like we are so conditioned through society, upbringing, education, and so on, and we are taught that some of the truths of life are, I can't. I simply can't. You know, I want to challenge that. I want to challenge that based on the Bible, based on dynamics that I see in the Bible and how Jesus interacted with his disciples. We're going to go through the Bible story. But most of all, I want to challenge things that you believe to be fundamental truths. And should you really dare challenging them, I think you're going to see a completely different side of reality that is at your fingertips that you never touched, but it can actually make things happen in your life that you thought never were possible. So it starts with this verse over here. So it says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Now, how do you understand that? What does that mean? With God, anything is possible. Okay. Uh-huh.
I can do anything I put my mind to, allowing God to work through it as well.
All right, so you see this like anything is possible in collaboration between you and God, kind of like that. Okay. Philip, how do you understand this verse? What does it tell you?
Through his doing on your own strength.
Okay, all right. So it's God the one who does stuff through, actually no, things happen through God's providence, not your delivery.
You're limited with your own strength, so yeah, through him and through his strength, and
Okay.
his will.
All right. Okay, cool. Now, let me just see what the next slide is before we kind of start chopping this up a little bit. Okay, we're going to come this to first. Look at this Bible verse. So verse is pretty. It's simple. It's short, and a little bit of a context for it. So Paul writes the letter to Philippians, and he's pretty much thanking them for sending him help because he's in prison, and he is like, guys, let me just be clear with you. Like what I'm writing to you right now, I'm not writing out to my own need. I'm really fine. I'm totally cool. And then he says, I've learned to be content in plenty, in insufficient, in pain, in suffering, in joy. He's like, I'm really good. Whatever the circumstances of my life are, I'm completely content and I'm fine. And then he says this, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Now, there are 4 elements in this verse that we're not going to analyze them right now. I want you to be aware of them as we go through the experiment in a minute. So, he says, first thing, he says, I can do. So, Paul acknowledges one thing. I have the ability to do. Second thing, he addresses what? He says all things. Now, this is a very general, very broad statement and makes you think like, what in the world is he talking about? But he simply says, literally everything and anything I can do. So I'll let you guys contemplate on it. What is everything and anything that you want to do? Third thing he says over here, through him. So the idea is not, like Philip was there somewhat on the way, the idea is not that God does things. The idea is that I do things. But the idea is that this happens in collaboration with God. Through, as he says over here, through him. So the path is not whatever my own ideas are, but the idea is through God. And then the last thing over here aspect is he who strengthens me, which means that the process of getting to the result of doing all things happens, again, Philip made that good point over there, not by my strength, but by my strength enhanced with God. Makes sense? Not really that hard. Now we're going to do the experiment. So, all right. Come up with 3 things.
That we can do?
Yeah, something super obvious. Yeah.
Like without God or with God?
Just read. Just kind of read a sentence and just come up with very basic 3 things that you obviously cannot do.
Can't have a baby.
You can't have a baby. I knew that somebody's going to come up with that. Okay. All right. Come on. Come on, gentlemen. Think about it.
Like right now I can do?
No, in general, something that you quite obviously cannot accomplish, cannot do.
I cannot be 5 feet tall, nor can I be 6 feet tall.
Okay, fine. He has 2. You guys have 0. Come on.
I cannot have green eyes.
You can have green eyes. Okay, cool. You can't reach the top shelf. You can't go through a narrow door.
Only if it goes sideways.
That's debatable as well.
You didn't have to meet her.
Yeah, that's like. Come on, 3 things. Not that hard. Come on, think. Hey, if you don't engage, there is no point to us doing this.
Can't fly.
You can't fly, okay?
I can't be the CEO of Amazon.
You can't be CEO of Amazon, okay? You have 1 more. You have 2 more. You have 1 more.
I can't have a 47-inch vertical.
You can't have what?
I can't jump 47 inches.
Oh, no, I didn't hear what you said. Oh, okay. You can't have, okay.
Can't change my race.
You can't change your race, okay. He made it? Oh.
Can't change that you're gonna die no matter what.
Okay, you can't change the inevitability of death. Okay, cool. Now, oh, she's here too. Dang it. We had such a good, depressing time. Hello, gentlemen and lady. We had like a men's ministry, and then like, oh, she's here. Dang it. So, we're doing an experiment. 3 things. Think of 3 things that you obviously cannot do. He's actually quoting the Bible verse that we just read 5 minutes ago, literally. Come on, 3 things that obviously. Yeah. Some 3. An example. What did you say?
So the first one is like I can't have a baby.
You said you can't change your race.
I wouldn't.
You always wanted to be Mexican. Come on. You even look Mexican. You're very close to it, actually. I think with.
Black, white.
Vicky blends in with every circle.
We're not talking about all the guys you've been with.
She doesn't have to know the details, okay? It's like dark pages and brown pages. What other pages of his history? White pages. So, this is the idea. So, again, Zapalva, come on in. You can go there, you can go there, wherever. Yeah. The other way around. Now, what are the limitations? Let's talk about limitations of the things that you numbered. So, heads up. So, 3 things that you obviously cannot do. Today we're talking about ability. And the foundation for now, I can do all things in him who strengthens me, through him who strengthens me. That's kind of the Bible verse. But then everybody just numbered a whole bunch of things that we cannot do. So, let's talk about limitations. Let's talk about flawed elements of the things that you numbered. First of all, first thing that you said was flawed. What Philip said was flawed as well, and it doesn't fit into the category of what I asked you over here. Why? Okay, let me, it seems like a struggle. So last week we talked about identity. Part of your inherent identity is that you're a man. So having inability to give a birth is not part of some of your ability, but your identity. Inherent part of your identity is that you are Caucasian. That's not something you do. That's something you are, as much as you try to change it. Yeah, show us your butt. Then we're going to see really how white you are. That's like, yeah, that's like. So, we'll do this again. Things that you cannot do, not that you cannot be. Same thing for you and your green eyes, like it doesn't apply. Other things that you said apply. So, yeah, vertical applies, you know, because that's something you do. Being a CEO of Amazon applies because that's something you do, you know. So, I want you to think one more time. Come up with 3 personal things that you simply cannot do. You can't? Okay. Okay, that makes sense because you got to... Huh? Yeah, I heard you. Okay. All right.
I don't think there's nothing really, to be honest. Other than physical things that like maybe are outside of your abilities.
Okay.
And I don't think there's anything that you can't not do.
Okay. Bring back the dead. Okay. Okay, that's a good one.
You can't walk on water.
You can't walk on water. Okay. But did you try?
I actually, having that, when you have a fight with your wife, and then you're like, hey, well, when you walk on water, you'll be right or whatever. It takes a case of water, and then puts a bunch of them, just walks on them.
Yeah, that's a nice workaround. Yeah. So, what are the limitations we're talking about? In a sense, I agree with Philip. But then again, there are some things that you're realistically going to say, I'm not going to achieve this. I'm not going to do this. This is just impossible. Like Josh, elaborate, since you brought it up. Why do you think you can't reach 47 vertical? Okay.
Asians jump high. That's true, but I guess Jeremy jumps. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Jeremy jumps.
Yeah, or Yao. Look at him. Actually, no, Yao. He never jumped.
No,
yeah, that's why he.
He's like a 3.
You can do advanced statistics at age 6, but you can't jump.
He's not Chinese.
He is Chinese. Like,
that's why he does my taxes. So
I guess I just never put my mind to it.
okay, all right. That's another thing.
Self-limitation.
Self-limitation. Okay, let's talk about limitations. So obviously there are physical limitations in our world. So like I put them over there as a framework. So we are limited by like 3 dimensions. Like you said, we can't fly. Okay, you try. You know? Yeah, it's not going to work out that well. Now, the framework doesn't allow us that because we are physically not fit for something like that, right? The framework doesn't allow him to reach 47 vertical, at least not today with all of the meat that he's going to eat today, that he already ate. The framework of, like, you know, I can't get any younger. For example, because the framework of time is not going to allow me that. For example, you know, I can do things to reverse my aging, you know, to get my whatever, you know, but I can't get any younger. It just makes no sense, you know. So there are certain limitations over there that exist. But there are also then options that you have. Like, for example, can you really, like, do you think that you would be capable to reach 47, 6, 7, whatever you said, vertical, if you would put an effort? Yeah. Huh? That's a lot of effort over there, you know? But it's not unattainable. It's just something you're not interested in. You couldn't care less about it, so you're not going to put your mind and work and energy and so on to it, so you're never going to achieve it. But it's not unattainable. Make sense? A harder question. Do you think that he can become an Amazon CEO?
Yeah.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Become an Amazon.
That was something I just threw out there.
But like, let's say using both those 2 questions, I see it as what value would you get by getting that vertical? What value would you get by being a CEO of Amazon? It's not even the goal. It's not even how do I get to the goal, but what is the goal? If I achieve this goal, what would I obtain for?
I got you. Okay, yeah, we're going to get there. So we're going to get, so right now I'm just talking in general terms where I'm trying to get to the point where everything is achievable. Nothing in your life that you see yourself doing in the future is not unachievable. Literally everything you desire, you can have it. Who said that? Dickie said that. Like he said, I can be a billionaire. Dickie,
Yeah.
actually when you get here, come on. In the meantime, before we get to him, you said we can fly. I fly all the time.
Yeah.
I have my airplane, sit in it, and I go fly. So there are options. There are options. Some things might not be possible from a certain perspective within the limitations that we exist in, but there are options, and that's why, hello, and that's why ingenuity is so important in life, because ingenuity is what makes things that are seemingly impossible actually possible. Now, you, why wouldn't you be a billionaire?
Because that's really hard to do.
How do you know? How many billionaires do you know?
None.
Have you ever tried being a billionaire?
Try.
Okay? He's lying, like,
So
huh? He's lying. No, he said he's trying.
I watched the video.
Figure it out.
Huh?
Try to figure it out.
No, that's a different thing. That's not trying to be or trying to do it. That's right. That's a different thing. Like you're building the framework to become one, but you're not doing it. So the question is this. You set the moment I say I can't, that is the truth. That is the fact of life. That is a limitation, self-imposed limitation, but limitation nonetheless that becomes reality of your life on top of limitations that we already have. Makes sense? So there is really, like, if you would put your mind to it, you could become a billionaire. You don't know how, so you need to learn. There's that guy. What's that guy's name? That was on like undercover, like in like 90 days.
Grant Cardone.
Yes, that's Frank Cardone. Yes. So he had this cool project where he was completely incognito, without any of his contacts, without anything. In 90 days, huh?
In New Mexico.
Yeah, in New Mexico, in 90 days, it was a challenge that he's going to build $1 million company in 90 days with only $100. Or it was $1,000, I don't remember exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyways, he had like a, let's say, I think it was $1,000. He had 90 days to build $1 million company. So in 90 days, without anything, like completely incognito, with nobody knows who he is, nobody, nothing, you know. What he managed to do is to build a company that was worth 3.7 million.
You know, he's my height. I met him.
Uh-huh.
I went to one of the conferences.
Uh-huh.
He was okay.
Well, that's where we realized that height doesn't matter to be a billionaire. But the whole idea is this. That's for Dicky, pretty much. You're who you are, and what you do is tightly related together. But the concept of having the ability to literally do anything you desire, to achieve whatever your wildest dreams are actually attainable in a very, very simple manner. So, before we continue, I'm going to wait for all of you to come back. Okay, have fun. Huh? No, that's okay. That's okay. That's where you handle stuff there. Now, let's go back to the positive aspect of the story. So, let's talk about ability. Your ability. And I'm not talking about your specific abilities, but I'm talking about your general ability to achieve anything. Where does your ability to achieve anything stem from?
It comes from urgency.
Okay?
And
Necessity.
so
Origins.
if I came to you and I said, everyone in your whole family, all your friends would die if you didn't make $1 million by the end of this month. You have urgency, and you find a way. Like if you really wanted to, you find a way to do it.
Necessity, mother of all inventions. Exactly. So, one thing that drives us is a need. Right? Need is what drives you to do anything, good, bad, or ugly, whatever it is. But there has to be a need, right? Now let's go a little bit deeper. What is need driven by? I need food. Why? Hungry. What is being hungry? Being hungry is not a need. What do you mean?
It physically hurts to be hungry.
Okay, because it hurts to be hungry, which means there is a pain involved to eliminate, to be eliminated. What is pain? What is pain driven by? A feeling? Okay, what kind of a feeling? I'm trying to get a specific word out of you guys because it's very important to understand it. Desire. Everything we do is driven by desires. People die when they lose their desires. And I, as a pastor, I witnessed that dozens of times. With elderly people, I see when they start losing their desires, they start dying. Visibly, like the kind of the marks of aging start happening people when they start losing their desires. I see that with sick people in hospital. When their condition just goes south, it usually happens just before they give up. They don't have a desire to fight anymore. They don't have a desire. Their family doesn't motivate them anymore. Nothing motivates. They don't have a desire to experience life anymore. And that's when you start dying. Everything you are right now where you are right now today in your life, professional, personal, intellectual, emotional, and so on, you were brought here by desires you deemed worthy. Now we come to what Philip mentioned over there, where goals have different values. And what is this goal going to bring me? Essentially, things that you choose to do in life and things that you choose to say I can or I cannot are the things that you are motivated to pursue by your desires. Does that make sense?
Is like the desire, I'm seeing it as like the desire is a base for it all.
Okay.
And the goal is like the next step and then accomplishing that.
Yes, in a very crude way, yeah, you could say there are more steps in between, but yes.
I have the desire to go to school, and then but my goal is to complete school or get to this step in my life.
I guess you could do it, but you're still taking like the step forward, something like that. Let's talk about this. So you have a desire to go to school. Why?
Make a better life.
Make a better life. Why do you want to make a better life?
Because I don't like where I am.
Okay, why don't you like where you are?
Because I can't buy things I want.
Why do you want to buy things you want?
I have a desire to have things.
Now we're getting to the real desire. This is the. I was about to say. I thought he was like talking about. No. But and that's it. That's not even the deepest set. Why do you desire to have things? Happiness. Now we are getting to the core of what true desire is. So your desire to go to school is just a reflection of a deeper desire to have a better life. The desire to have a better life is driven by a deep and so on. That's what it meant. What are the core desires that drive us? Think. What are tell me actually we don't have to go that way. Happiness is one of the core desires that drives us. We do a lot of good, bad, and ugly things because we think they're going to make us happy. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. When they do, we perpetuate and expand. When they don't, we evolve and do other things. Tell me some, come on, think of some more of your desires. Tell me something that you really desire. Where's Philip? Okay, he's asleep. He might be tired. But anyways, tell me.
I started thinking like, because I was like, what are your desires, like house, but then it's like more of a hierarchy of needs, but then it's like luxury, comfort.
Okay, let's talk about that. House. Why did you guys buy a house? When you bought it?
For our dogs.
Huh?
For our dogs.
For your dogs. Okay, why was that a big deal? They can live in an apartment as well.
Because you can just let them outside.
So it's not for the dogs.
I guess technically, yeah, I guess it's gross. But you can just let them outside and they can go. And you don't have to go out in the snow and put your boots on and your jacket every hour.
So dogs could be maybe like a tertiary or tertiary desire. But what was the primary desire for buying a home? Inconvenience by dogs, right? Okay, why don't you want to be inconvenienced by dogs? Huh?
Easier.
It's easier, okay.
Not good.
Okay. No, there are many other reasons. Right now I'm just talking, and this is the first thing that came out of your mouth, and that's fine. That might not even be the primary one, but obviously your dogs are driving you nuts a little bit, so that's kind of in the front of your thought process, and that's fine. Because it still takes us down to the core desires. What is a core desire, or it's easier? Comfort. Comfort is one of the core desires, right? That's why convenience, comfort. I'm more like the word comfort because convenience is a little bit more structured. You know, comfort is pretty much very broad, because bottom line is right. Think about it. Why did you buy a new truck? Or even better, why did you agree to him buying that monster?
I mean, you know, he works hard and he really wanted it.
Okay, all right. So he deserved it, right? Okay, she's a good wife. Keep her. Now, why did you buy a truck?
To have something better.
You already had a pretty good one, but you want something better. Let's evolve this question a little bit more when we talk about these whys. How does having this truck make you feel? Confident. Cool. Why?
Because I could run people over. Some people are scared.
It's like you know, so it's kind of, you have a,
So wholesome to like immediately unwholesome.
no, but here's a perfect example of a functioning sociopath. You know, it's like he's driving his truck and he's like, I am this away from killing 50 people, but I'm still here. I'm functioning. But it's like here nobody cares. Here, oh my God, he's like, you know, that's confidence. That's like.
Why are you driving in a slow lane? I just tailgate them, flash my lights, and then they moved on. Should have ran them off the road.
Always one decision away from a different life.
Let's go back. Happiness, comfort, feel good, confidence. Our basic desires, they do not stem from rational. They stem from intuitive. And here's the perfect evidence. This year, I've been doing much more real estate transactions. It just happened that way. I started getting more and more clients. Not tremendously more, but let's say like a half a dozen people that I had to work with this year. In 90% of cases, people make the biggest, hardest financial investment of their lives that counts in hundreds of thousands of dollars. In 90% is like, I like those windows. The view is so good, but that house over there is cheaper and it's a better deal. No. I'm buying this. Why? It makes me feel happy. Because I love seeing the clear skies. I don't want to see my neighbor's yard from that house. I want to see the sky. And people are willing to pay 50 grand extra. I'm talking about middle class, like people that I was working with. But yeah, true.
Well, even middle class, like we were. Not us. When we went to look at the houses, they were like, oh, it's already up by 100 grand.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's, at the time when you guys were buying, there was a lot of upbidding, yeah. But one thing that I've learned, and one thing that I try to convey to you, one thing that is going to be so liberating in your life is to understand that when Paul says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me, this do part, I can do, is first and foremost driven by your intuitive desires. Somebody desires confidence, for example, and they will pursue things that will bring them confidence. That's why you go crazy on that snowboard. That's why you go off-roading. That's why, because like achievement fills you confidence. Somebody desires peace. So you're going to pursue peace. Let's just get a freaking yard so I have peace from these dogs, you know? Somebody pursues, what was your motivation for school? I can't remember now. What was the bottom line?
Make it a better life.
Yeah, so
But it's also like,
comfort.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, comfort. So somebody pursues comfort.
I
And
also
there,
did it to like have better, more interaction with the people I was working with.
okay, all right, okay. Fulfillment, okay, yeah. But all of the things that really drive us in our core are our intuitive desires. Now, this is what happens. Carl Jung says this. You guys know who Carl Jung is? He is one of the fathers of modern psychology. He's a Swiss psychologist and psychiatrist from the beginning of the 20th century. You'll hear that name from me. You've heard that name from me quite a bit because he is brilliant. But this is what he says. He says, for as long as the subconscious is not brought into conscious, it will drive your life without your involvement, and you will call it fate. You will feel as if somebody else is driving your life. The circumstances are taking you into that direction. That's just the way I am, and so on. And the final result is, well, I don't really have control of my life. Essentially, I cannot. Life, you have full control over your life. Once you understand and subdue your intuitive desires. In order to do that, you need to go introspect and dig deep. Because here's what happens. And the reason why this is so important, and that's what we're going to talk about through the continuation of what we're going to be doing next. One thing that is important to understand is this. Right now, you say, I can't be a millionaire. Why? Because it's hard. It takes a lot to work. And you might become a millionaire. Like, if you put your mind to become a billionaire, and like in what, you're like 33, 34? How old are you? 34. You're 34. By the age of 50, let's say 16 years, you're going to become a billionaire. What if I told you that you could become a billionaire in the next 3 years? And that I can help you get there.
I'll be like, yeah, take all my money.
Why?
Because I want to get there.
Okay, but you were planning 16 years. And now I give you an offer to do it in 3. Easier. Back to the peace part. But, okay, okay, maybe I shouldn't have related it that way. Yeah, that's what you trust. Yeah, that's like,
you can talk,
okay. But the idea is this. Think right now of your most important, precious goal that you want to achieve in next 5 years. Just, I'll give you 20 seconds. Think of your most precious goal that you want to achieve in next 5 years. Just have it like clear in your mind. You guys got it? Okay. What if I told you you could reach it in a year? Huh? It will help a lot. Okay. What if I told you you could even reach it in 6 months?
Let's do it.
Huh? Not? Okay. It takes more for a baby to come. Yeah, I know. It takes at least 9 months. Okay, that will be a push. Yeah, I see it. I'm trying to think, like, can we, like, no, never mind. Like, speed up the process. But, okay, let's stick it to a year, for example. That's substantial shrink from 2 years. What do you think? What do I have in mind? I'm serious. Like, what goal you have for 5 years, I'm seriously telling you you can reach it within a year.
It's kind of like last week.
Okay?
I think it was last week. Where I was like, not ready.
Okay.
Hesitant nature.
Okay.
Because it's scary.
All right. Okay.
It's not necessarily, I'm like,
We will discuss fear. Okay. Hold that thought. We will get to the point of how fear destroys your ability to can. But we'll talk about that. Right now, I just want you to think about this. Is it realistic? Think of your plan that you have for 5 years. Is it realistic to achieve it in the next year? By September next year, September 2025, is it realistic to say this is doable? Huh? No, by God's grace means it's not realistic, right? That is giving your power away. When you anytime we say that, yeah, as I said, you guys remember what I told you about "Thy will be done." Have to be, yeah. When Jesus says "Your will be done," that doesn't mean what Laura said. Just to be clear, what Laura said is a very wrong way of looking at things, at least from my perspective, because you give up when you say that. Eventually, it's going to be God's will. You give up. You literally drop the ball at that point. What do you think about that? Laura, does it make sense?
I guess so. Yeah, because like we said last week, like we're co-creators of our future with God.
Okay?
So saying like it's up to Him, kind of like I drop my part of co-creating with Him.
Yes. Yes. The idea of your will be done, when Jesus says it in the context, doesn't talk about I give up whatever God does, what that happens. No, the idea is God guide me to be close enough to you so I know what your will is. Because, just a personal example, you guys, all of you know me for a while. The idea that I had back in 2020, when this whole my process of spiritual shift started, I had ideas for my life, grand ideas. Ideas that were based on a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 20-year plan until I retire and so on. And I really thought that those ideas were like, I was praying for them. I was asking God for His will. Through the period of time, all of these ideas evolved and changed and shifted so drastically that I look back at those old obsolete ideas from 2020 and like, I was so freaking blind. But what happened in the process is, as I was asking for God, I really want your will to be done, God started opening my eyes, helping me understand and see, okay, if you really want to achieve your max, then these things have to happen, and so on. And right now, plans that I have for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, are completely different than plans I had 5 years ago. Completely different. But I see so much broader. That's the idea of your will be done. Eventually, it's going to be God's will. In that context. Not in context is God is sovereign, He's going to do whatever He wants. No, no, no. In the context, okay, I have the clarity to see. I have the clarity to see how my life is going to turn into the future. And that's another topic that we're going to talk about. But I can tell you that actually God reveals to all of us our future. We just don't pay attention.
So you see it as like, I'm seeing it as like you're writing a rough draft for your life, like this is your ideas and like you're having God in it.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, well, we could do this.
We can build on this.
We could build
but
on
we are
this
not
and
going
like
to. Yeah.
maybe it's a little bit of sentence structure where he's like, well, this, and like I have bigger plans for you right here. This is a base, but let's shift it to this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a good example, exactly. But the main idea is you take ownership of your future by saying, I can do all things through Him who strengthens me, and then His will happens. And it might take you in a completely different, it took me in a completely different direction in order for me to be able to see a broader perspective of my life. It's crazy. But this is the point. This is what I want us to talk about right now. I want you to understand the dynamics of how you can achieve anything in tremendously short period of time outside of any logic. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. So we're going to go to Matthew chapter 14. Interestingly that we come to that story. Now, Matthew chapter 14, 22 to 33, you guys are familiar with the story. It's not going to be on the screen, just a couple of verses are going to be there. So we can kind of walk through it. Let me just open it up as well. All right, so familiar story. Jesus walks on water. You guys familiar with the story, right? Who is not familiar with the story? Excellent. He walked on wine as well. So, a little bit of a backdrop. So, the leaders of the people that Jesus was preaching to, they saw huge potential in Jesus, which is written in chapter 13, and they realized that Jesus is a strong political asset. So they realized, you know what, we have a lot of people on our side, let's make him a king, like right now. Because this is the deal. He is the Messiah. He is the king. So the leaders started running up other leaders, and they were starting to push people into getting Jesus forcefully to go to Jerusalem and be pronounced king. And then they go to his disciples, and they even recruited his disciples for this idea. They bought into the idea, yes, this is the perfect time, and Jesus needs to be the king. And Jesus keeps telling them, my kingdom is not of this world. I'm not here to do this. And they're like, no, 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 we're doing this right here, right now. And at that point, Jesus' divine authority is like, everybody leave right now. And his divine authority was so fierce that everybody just freaked out. And everybody just dispersed. And he tells his disciples, you get on the boat and get to the other side right now. And they're like, okay, okay, okay. They're on the boat, they're on the way. It's already dark. The sun already set, it's already dark. So these guys are on the boat, and it's super rough. And the weather is bad. And the wake is strong. And it's the fourth, as it says, it's the time of the fourth watch, which is 3 to 5 a.m. approximately, the time before the dawn. And now the story gets freaky. So verse 25, where is it? And in the fourth watch of the night, he came to them walking on the sea. Now, let me ask you this. How did Jesus walk on water? He was possessed. One option. Yeah. Although he was possessed by the Spirit of God, which makes it a little bit kind of more positive in the context. Hopefully all of us are more possessed by the Spirit of God. But how did he walk on water? How did he break the rules? Bend the rules, okay, if not break them. But I mean, he broke the rules, most definitely. But no, but that's a good point. He really was an airbender, if you want to be honest. This is not the first time he does that. He was a waterbender. He was an airbender, right? He was a firebender. Earthbender. Yeah! We should do manga on this one. Seriously, this would be cool. You just realized a lot of things are based on some of the... Okay, tell me. So if he was a waterbender, what does that mean? Was he human like all of us?
Yes.
He was human, right? So he didn't really have any specific abilities, right? He said numerous times, I can do nothing without my Father's involvement. Everything I do is done by the power of my Father. He said that dozens of times, all the way through his ministry from beginning to the end. He was repeating this again and again and again. He was fully human, just like us. Now, how was he walking on water? Come on, think. What kind of physics is that? Like, what did you say?
He ran really fast.
It was like Usain Bolt on steroids. You just see the splash behind him, you know. Oh, Dash? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Come on. How did he walk on? How in the world did he walk on water? Trusting God. Very simple and easy, right? So, God gave him the ability to walk on water. Huh? Your answers were amusing. As you notice, I laughed a lot. So I did like them, you know? And they were kind of going in the right direction as well. Because here's the thing. So there is nothing special about Jesus in that context. He was human as all of us. Yes, he was the Son of God. Yes, he had the presence of the Spirit on a much higher level than we have him. But here's the thing. All of his life was devoted to him being close to God. From early age, he was as deep as he can be. And then at the age of 12, when he realized he is the Son of God, that even deepened more. So the difference between you walking on water and Jesus walking on water is just a matter of trust in I can do all things. Have you ever had a miracle happen to you? I know that you have, because I know you guys for a long time. Dickies are always amusing. Like, stop in the rain. Like, seriously. Like, the Native Americans should hire you. Like, Huh?
They wanted more rain.
It's the opposite of that.
Yeah, the fire department should hire him for like, like. But here's the thing. Remember those miracles. So there were exceptional moments in your lives when you were certain of God's engagement. I remember that time. Like, you're like, no, this is not. It's not gonna rain, and it's cloudy everywhere, and look, it's not gonna rain. And we see rain everywhere, and there's like a hole above us. But you were certain. You were certain that God is there with us. And I seriously believe at the time that that's exactly what happened. That God, you were the airbender in that moment. Through Him who strengthens you. Nothing special about you. Special is your certainty in God's delivery. Now, let's talk on. So, Jesus is certain, right? Jesus, he did many miracles. So for him, walking on water was not much of an issue. He's certain that God is with him. God is going to hold him on water. The buoyancy is not going to count to to him being there. So he just walks around. I don't know. I was always wondering, like, was he splashed by the waves, or he would just kind of walk over them, or jump, or were the waves kind of calm down, apart? Yeah, like,
Shallow.
or like, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like. But anyways, the whole point is he is walking on water. And now what happens? Disciples freak out. It's like middle of the night. They're tired. They're worn out. They see Jesus walking to them. And now they didn't have lamps at that time. This was dark. The only thing that would light up at that time was the lightnings. Like the lightning flashes. They didn't have like flashlights or like, especially if they did have lamps, they would not use them in a storm like that. You know, so they see Jesus. I mean, they see somebody, something, whatever. You know, they think it's a ghost. They start like freaking out, like that haunted houses. You know, right? Those shows. You know, but they have nowhere to run. They're kind of stuck on a boat. So Jesus is like, guys, chill, like relax. It's me. Hey. And now, what happens here? Look at this. This is where your miracles start. Verse 28. Somebody read verse 28.
And Peter answered him, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water.
Thank you very much. What did Peter express here?
Partial doubt.
Okay, all right.
He didn't believe it.
He's like, if it is, well, here's the thing. It's dark. It kind of sounds like Jesus, but it's so loud from the wind and the waves. Kind of looks like Jesus too, but it's like he's walking on water. This is crazy. So I guess it could be him. So let's double check. Jesus, if it's you, if it's not just some kind of a ghost or whatever, call me to come walk on water. What is the next thing that Peter expressed?
That desire.
Excuse me?
Fear?
Where do you see fear in that verse?
That verse.
I just want you to now isolate this verse and tell me and describe me the expression over here. So first thing, he needed reassurance. And Jesus was like, yeah, you bet. Jesus does not kind of challenge him or whatever. Obviously, yeah, there was a legit reason for him to ask, hey, if it's really you. So Jesus is like, come on, come over here. But what did Peter express?
Desire, invitation.
Doubt was the first part to a certain extent, what we just talked about it. But what he actually expressed over here is a desire to walk on water. Does Peter have the ability to walk on water? No. Absolutely not. Do you have an ability to become a billionaire in next 3 years? Does he have an ability to be a billionaire in next 3 years? Does he have an ability to be 100,000er in the next 3 years?
100,000?
Yeah. So instead of making $1 billion, he's going to hopefully make $100,000. Yeah, like, like here's the thing. We know you, Dickie. The moment you make $1 million, you're going to spend $800,000 on snowboarding equipment. You're going to buy a whole slope. No, but but here's the thing. If he strengthens you, do you have an ability to become a billionaire in the next 3 years? Peter has no ability whatsoever to walk on water. The only thing that Peter does, what other 11 didn't do, is express desire.
He did command him too.
Well, he said, Lord, if it is you, call me. Call me to walk on water. Yeah. Now God responds with strengthening. God says, come. He said, come. So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. So he actually came to Jesus. Did you guys see that? So he was not like quite a distance away from Jesus. He's like, and this is for me, this is what tells me that Peter had one quality that all of us need to attain to be able to walk on water. He had certainty. Jesus said, come. He's like, you bet. I'm going.
But it still said he was afraid. So
Well, we didn't get that far yet. We did not get that far yet. Before we get there, that's why I said, I don't know if you guys were here when I said, we're going to come to the point where we're going to discuss fear as being one of the major killers of I can. But that's going to be the next thing that I want to discuss. Before that, I just want to make sure one thing is understood. Peter had no ability to walk on water until he had it. You have no ability to walk on water until you have it. You have no ability to attain financial freedom and abundance until you have it. Whatever you say, you didn't say anything, you didn't share, yeah. Whatever your greatest desire that you want to achieve in the next 5 years is, you don't have that ability until you have it. But here's the thing. It's not about how hard did Peter work to walk on water? Did he practice? Well, the only thing he practiced is walking, but not on water. So he knew how to walk. He knew how to walk, but walking on water was he didn't do this before. The only thing that God needs from you, now listen to me very carefully, because this is going to change, at least it changed my perspective of understanding how to achieve my greatest desires with ease, with grace, with flow, and much faster than I thought they were possible. All you need, actually all that God needs from you is your desire. Desire to achieve something. He doesn't need your plan. It's good for you to have a plan because you need to. You will need, like Peter's plan was like, well, I'm going to walk on water. What's my plan? I'm going to first thing, feet on the other side of the boat. Now stand up. So he had an idea of how to achieve this, but it was so wild, just jumping into something that he thought that everybody else in the boat thought he had no ability to do. But he had a desire. Now, Jesus didn't ask him, okay, what's your plan? How are you going to walk on water? No. Once you express a desire before God, and this is time back in when we talked at the beginning of the year in that concept, ask and you will receive. Your desire is your asking. And God said, you ask and you will receive. In Mark, it's so cool. He says, when you ask, it is already received. Which means that whatever you have on your mind right now is your greatest desire for your 5 year. It is already made. You are just not aware of it. You're not in a conscious state where you're aware of it, and then you live your habitual life, and then you don't experience it. Same thing with Peter. He could have said, is it soft? Is it hard? It's kind of squishy. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's cold. Whew, There are numerous reasons, numerous ways that he could have approached it. But he approached it with both feet in. Bam. But here's the thing. He didn't have to work hard. He didn't have to devise a whole plan. How is he going to achieve it? All God needed from him is to express his desire in words and in action. That is literally what happened, right? That's literally what happened. He expressed his desire in words. God is like, yeah, let's do it. And then he expressed his desire in actions. Because by all the norms, he should have just fell through and hopefully they would fish him out. But that didn't happen. Now, to what extent is this story a metaphor or it's really happened that way? I mean, it's up to our faith and acceptance. Whether this story is just presentation of how things work in a spiritual realm or he actually walked on water, you accept the Bible at face value. Yeah, he walked on water. For some people, that's too much to believe. But the point, that's not the point. The whole point is, this is how spiritual dynamics in horizontal world works. You want to be a billionaire? You can. You want to do that through him in 3 years? You can. But you have to express your desire in your words and in your actions, which for me means, God, I really want to be a billionaire. Let's make it happen. And at that point, whatever small parts of your plan you have, you start pursuing it. You go and act as if you're a billionaire. That's what Peter did. Because he had certainty that he's going to walk on water. When you pray and say, Lord, I desire this or I desire that, the moment you remember that, the moment you say amen, amen reflects your certainty that this is already granted.
It's been on my mind, but I'm going off topic a little bit. But like, what about those people that's like, in the name of God, your leg is healed, or in the name of God, you're a billionaire.
Okay.
What's the difference? You know, like are they speaking in tongues?
Okay.
Like,
No, but what's the difference between what? Sorry,
like,
I didn't.
Like, you know, if like,
Baptist church
or if I say myself,
Okay.
in the name of God, I'm gonna be a billionaire.
No, you don't say that. No. You say, in the name of God, I am a billionaire. You don't talk about future. You don't know what future you're going to bring. You get my point?
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, people who heal. Like, there's a lot of, like, you watch these televangelists, like Benny Hinn, and those guys, like, they're full of it, really. But there are numerous situations that you can find where genuine healing happened instantaneously, in an insane manner. Like, I remember, like, I think I shared this story over here with you. That it happened, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the story of the son just cries out. Then they made a movie of that film of that kid who drowned in ice. They pulled him out, and they kind of read him off, and his mom was like, no, my son is alive. My son, God is not going to let my son die. He comes back, and it's a medical miracle, because by all standards his brain shouldn't be working, his lungs should be shot and everything from freezing water, and he recovers, he's fine, and so on. Numerous stories like that. Why? Because of people's certainty in God's delivery. Because you build your faith to the point of certainty. I know that, and here's the thing, like, people say, I know that God is going to do it. When people say that, pay close attention to them, because things are most likely going to happen. Now, another thing to have in mind also. For example, you want to be a billionaire in 3 years. And you're like, okay, God, I am a billionaire. Let's make it happen. He might take you on a very weird roller coaster in the next 3 years, because he knows that you have no qualities of being a billionaire. So he will need to teach you these qualities first. You know what I'm saying? You might get into a situation to, like, in the next month, get an opportunity to move to Singapore. Because over there, he's going to connect you to an actual billionaire who is going to teach you how to do that. But at that point, it's a matter of your trust. Am I going to drop everything I have over here and go on a hunch and hopefully this works out? You know, this is the element of certainty that guides us through our life plans. I think I told you that a couple of times, but this has been happening to me in the past couple of months on a regular basis. I keep getting the best parking spots wherever I go. I go downtown, I go to, like, and I'm like, Laura, can I get the best parking spot? And at this point, I know, like, I'm like, yeah. And I kid you not, it keeps happening. It's ridiculous. I went, last time I went to Florida, I like collecting shark teeth. They're kind of cool. So, and same thing, like, I really wanted to have a collection, and I'm asking, and I did the same. So it's silly, but God responds to these things. Like, I tell God, like, God, I want a couple of real nice shark teeth. And now I walk on the beach, and they're not that easy to find. They're not that easy to notice. They're not that easy to recognize. They're small, they're black, and so on. So I'm like, but I know I'm going to find them. And like in a matter of a couple of minutes, I find 3 really nice ones, like black, those fossilized ones. And I'm like, God, I want a nicer one. I really want, give me a nicer one, like a fresh one. No, I'm getting greedy with God, with these askings, you know? And I am not making this up. I make 6 feet, kind of looking, and I find a beautiful, fresh one. And they're all maybe like, kind of like a nail size. They're really not that big. They shed, the bigger they are, the faster they deteriorate. The smaller they are, easier they're fossilized, so they last longer. So you will mostly find the small ones, kind of like that. And I find a beautiful one. It's clean, it's defined. You can see like those little, like serrated edges and everything on it. It's insane, it's so cool. And I'm like, God, I really want a big one. I've never found in my life a big one. I really want to find a big one. But here's the thing. At this point, I'm certain that I'm going to find it. I kid you not. I make maybe like a minute or two, I make 10 steps, and I find the one like this. I have a photo. I took a photo on my phone. I've never, in 15 years of going to that beach in Florida, never, ever even saw somebody finding this size of a shark tooth. Why am I sharing this? God gives me certainty in small things so I can build my faith and ask for the big things. Like, for example, I have my 5-year plan. I have not a plan. I have an idea. I have an idea where I want to be at the age of 50, which is actually 4 years. Huh? What did you say? Next year. Do I look that bad? Oh, Lord. Oh, the backhanded compliment I got a couple of days ago this week. So a month ago, we had a meeting, a pastor's meeting in Kansas City, and I meet over there a pastor. I didn't see him in like more than 10 years. And we talk, you know, and I'm all excited about everything that's happening. He's like, Milosh, like, you radiate. Like, seriously, you look so good. That's amazing. So we have lunch. That was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday we get together for lunch. And we didn't see each other since that time. He's like, you look substantially older than when I saw you a month ago. I'm like, what? It's like, I don't know. You just do. Like, okay, I got to do something about my whatever. Anyway, sidetracking. But the whole point is this. This is my point, guys. You can do things through Him, and He will strengthen you beyond your realistic abilities, way beyond, based on how much certainty you have in your asking.
I was just gonna ask you, so like with the finding those shark teeth and stuff, do you feel like the outcome would have been different if you had those like doubts, like, oh God, let me find one, but maybe I won't find one, or like if you
So here's the thing. I have a lot of examples, and they're like a bucket full of examples when I doubted and nothing happened. Not specifically in this kind of a situation, but that morning I had a very deep connection with God. I spent literally like 2 hours on the beach, just sitting there in the sand, praying, reading, like really trying to connect. And through that process, he really gave me certainty. He really gave me like, dude, just ask. Just ask. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Kind of I almost had a taunting sense. And I'm like, okay, cool, I want shark teeth. And I got them.
So out of everything you asked for shark teeth?
Yeah, I literally no, I was collecting other kind of seashells that I liked, but I really wanted to have a handful of shark teeth. And then I wanted a special one. And then I wanted an even more special one that I never found before. And it was all given to me. The reason, as I said, I have a bucket full of examples where I was like, exactly like that. Oh, what if it doesn't happen? And it doesn't happen. Because the thing is, God can't give you something that you don't expect to get. It's as simple as that. That's why Jesus says, everything is possible to the one who has faith. When he talks to that father whose son is struggling with a demon, when father comes and tells him, please, if you can do anything, that's a level of doubt, right? If you can do anything. And Jesus is like, what do you mean if I can do anything? But here's the thing. He says this. He says everything is possible to the one who have faith. So Jesus is tossing the ball back into his hands. He says, I can do anything. But everything is possible to you if you have faith. And this father, who already witnessed Jesus' disciples failing and failing and failing again, he's not asking for his son. You remember, he's not asking for his son anymore. He says, I believe, Lord, help my unbelief. So he really believed that Jesus can actually help him not doubt. And Jesus is like, you bet. And he cast the demon out. Do you think that father ever doubted his prayers again? His unbelief was just wiped out. But this is the idea. Again, this is my work in progress as well. So God is giving me, and this is, as I said, the parking spots and this shark teeth, and this is like small potatoes. But God is teaching me through these to build my faith into more significant, more powerful things. As I said, I have an idea where I want to be by the age of 50. But to be completely honest with myself and at this point with you guys, my level of certainty is not there yet. So I know that, okay, if I'm not there yet, let me ask something for the next month. Or I'm going to ask for something until the end of the year. And I already did that. I already asked him. What I'm doing right now through my meditations, through my prayers, through my Bible studies, through everything I read, through all my attempts to connect to God, I am working on my certainty. Not trying to make sense of how is this going to occur. I don't know how things that I ask God, I am going in that direction. I'm doing my part, how I see that things could happen. But I'm leaving the doors open for God to do whatever to make them happen. And I know, like at this point, I know by the end of the year, some amazing things are going to happen. And we'll meet then, and I'm going to share. You're going to remember this conversation. I'm going to remember this conversation. When my certainty will be at the level where God is going to do some things in my life, and it's going to be a kind of testimony to all of you as well. But the whole point is this. God does not want to be appeased. God does not want to be begged. He does not want to be annoyed with gimme, 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 gimme. He wants to hear your desire. Now remember where desires come from. Peter's desire, he had a sheer desire to serve God, to be in his closeness. That's why he was so crazy in things that he did. That's why he pulled that sword and attacked a mob. That's why, because he really wanted to be. And Jesus saw that desire. And that was reflected in him calling to come to me. And now we come to the point that is very realistic, that is very important to understand. I see that, are you guys tired, yawning? You're just generally tired, okay? No, him also, and then you're like, okay, cool. Okay, then next verse that we're gonna read, and this, the what? Oh, so jealous.
Such a tiny thing. Him falling asleep.
We have
He's,
extra time today?
huh?
We have extra time today?
We'll take extra time. That's fine.
I'll just make it.
What time is it anyways? Huh?
What if there's a prayer that you've been asking for years and you don't ever get it?
Well, the problem is in asking again. So one thing to understand, again, and I see that's in the Bible. There are 2 points that you can ask from. You can ask from the point of, and we talked about that beginning of the year when we had that series, Ask and you shall receive. You can ask from the point of scarcity and from the point of abundance. And those are 2 very, very different spots. God can never answer a prayer from the point of scarcity. He can only answer from the point of abundance. What does that mean? When I come from a point of need and scarcity and say, okay, I don't have this, I really want it. You come and ask God and say, God, I really want this. But you're actually telling God, like, I don't have it. Like, I don't have it. And that's what your prayer ends with. I'm not saying that this is your prayer. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Maybe God is answering your prayer. It just takes him time to prepare you to receive that prayer. I don't know. I'm just generally kind of answering your question. The point of abundance is when you ask, God, I really want this. I really desire this. And then amen means I got it. The point of abundance is when you're asking for something and you have it. Like for example, ridiculous example. Like I told you about the truck. I should have been more specific in my asking. Because I asked God, God, I want a new car. I didn't want a new car. I knew that. I wanted something that's reliable, but I didn't want a new car. But I always wanted a pickup. And that's all that I had in my mind. God, I really want it. And
So you don't like your pickup?
huh?
You don't like your pickup?
I like it. It's pretty cool. But when I said I should have been more specific, I should have asked for more because I got what I asked for. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. I remember when I asked. And I had that moment of abundance that I'm talking about, Philip. I had that moment where I'm like, I ask it, and I'm like, thank you, awesome. I know I'm getting it. And the opportunity opened up. I get an amazing deal on this thing, and it's still like, if I sell it now here in Colorado, I'd make some good money off it for what I paid for over there in Kansas City. But the whole point is, I was asking, I desired a new vehicle. And my point of prayer was, okay, cool, thank you. And I move on. I kind of detach. I'm like, I asked, God is going to provide. Okay, I'm going to move on to other things. You know, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to look around. I'm going to see. I have my money ready. You know, and let's see what doors God opens. Now, here's the thing. When it happens once, it's a coincidence. Cool. When it happens second time, you're lucky, you know? When it happens the 15th time, even the third time, but when it happens third and fourth and fifth time, there is a pattern there. And that pattern is revealed to me through my personal experience. When God would answer my prayers anytime I would pray from that point of abundance. Anytime I would pray with certainty. Anytime when I really meant when I said amen. I kid you not. Sometimes I would sit on a prayer, like in this prayer of presence or whatever, but I would sit for like 20 minutes before I really meant to say amen. Where I meant, when I said amen, and I said, yes, it is done. And I knew it was done. And the event, sometimes a couple hours later, sometimes a couple days later, but events just unfold. Like outside of my scope or ability or sphere of influence, things just unfold Like a whole bunch of coincidences start happening, and God starts answering prayers. So that's dynamics of spiritual engagement with your ability to achieve. Reevaluate that years long prayer. Sit down and reevaluate and think, do you really expect God to answer that prayer? Second thing, ask yourself if he already maybe answered it, or he took you on a process of answering it. What is it, boy? He got choked.
Yes, he's fine.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Let him.
He went down and then he's
Oh, he
going
is stuck on
this.
that. Well, hopefully he learned his lesson. Most likely not.
Don't worry, he's like this all the time.
Now, let's. I don't want us to drag this for too long, but do you guys understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the lesson from Peter? Okay, this is the second lesson that Peter is teaching us. Somebody, please be so kind and read verse 30. Actually, 30 and 31. Somebody read.
And when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me. Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, Oh, you of little faith, why do you doubt?
Thank you very much. Now, what I want us to analyze in here is what is one and only mistake that Peter made. He started to doubt. What, how, why, now let me ask, why did he start to doubt?
Because they got windy.
Fe-
Nuts.
Actually, it's the other way around. Actually, no, you're right, but if we go backwards, yeah. So, his biggest mistake is doubt. He started doubting because he got afraid. Fear caught him. Why did fear catch him? Because of the circumstances that he was in. Right? He sees the wind and the waves, and he becomes afraid. And then the fear takes him to doubt, and he starts sinking. Jesus does not. Jesus is like, oh, come back, boy. No, you're fine, you're fine. But he tells him, why did you doubt? Now, here is what I want, a lesson that I got from it, that I understood over here. Once you ask God to take you on a ride that makes no sense, like becoming a billionaire in 3 years, becoming financially free and independent in a year, having a bigger yard for your dogs, or what, but whatever this thing is that you're asking for, this applies to your prayer as well. He takes you on a crazy ride that makes no sense. That's what he did to me. He took me on a crazy ride that absolutely makes no sense from one point. But it feels so right, and it's taken me in a direction of literally giving me everything I asked for. But here is how it works. Here's how it works. When you ask for something big from God, God is going to start shaping circumstances for this thing to happen. Now, these circumstances don't make sense all the time. So Peter is walking on water. Jesus makes first circumstance that he makes, somehow the water is hard enough for him not to sink. So he's walking there. Now, they're still in a storm. Waves are still there. Peter is walking around those waves. I guess, I don't know, wind is blowing, like he is being hit by the wind, whatever. He is in an insane situation. He looks back 20 feet away. There is the boat. There is the safety of the boat. He is right here in the midst of these waves and this wind. And now he sees the wave. It's not the problem that he saw the waves and the wind. He saw the waves and the wind from the very moment when he landed his feet on the ground. That was not the problem. The problem is how he responded to circumstances. That's why I told you, Let's go back to hypothetical example that I gave you. You ask God with certainty, make me a millionaire in 3 years. And a month from now, you get an opportunity. You meet a guy, you get them through, hey, I'll hire you, move to Singapore for a couple of years, and I'll teach you. Now, how are you going to respond to the circumstances? Are you going to be afraid? Or are you going to be excited? What is going to prevail? Same thing about you, I'm not ready. Why? Fear. That is Peter's fear. Because we constantly want to stay in the domain of realistic and normal. And then we don't allow God to do unrealistic and supernatural things. Does that make sense? If Peter wanted to stick to realistic and normal, he would have never left the boat. And then he would have never experienced the crazy miracle. God will put you in circumstances that are going to freak you out. But you still choose if you're going to get afraid of the circumstances or acknowledge, okay, I am on the way to God's accomplishment of my desire. So I'm taking these circumstances and I'm going to learn from them. Because the moment you get afraid is the moment your certainty actually shivers down, and that's the moment you're screwed. That's the moment you start sinking. In Peter's case, Jesus was right there. Okay, it was a dire situation. He pulls him out. In our case, what happens usually is our position on that path just gets reset. Now you have to start over, asking over. Here's the thing. We touched upon that financial independence. I'm aiming for it as well, you know. And I realized one thing as I was going through this process. Even if I go completely broke, I am still wealthy. I am still rich. Why? Because I asked God for it. And He's taking me through the process to get there. So if He's going to get me to get completely broke, that means that I need to experience this and learn from it in order for me to be able not just to receive, but maintain and grow the wealth that He's going to give me. Asking God, that's why that part, your will be done, is so scary. Because when you ask for it, you get the combo deal of the whole process of getting to it, where God prepares you for it. That's why I'm intrigued by what you said, that for years God is not answering your prayer. Huh? Why? You have to know why.
I know why. I'm working on my own personal stuff.
No. You have to know why is He not answering the fullness of your prayer yet. I'm not asking you to share with us. I'm just challenging you to think. Because here's the thing. Whatever you think it is, but the key thing is this. Until you have full clarity of why the prayer is not answered, you're not going to be able to see what is the next step to pursue. You know, you're stuck in unlearned lesson. And then it's like a Groundhog Day. Yeah, it's a Groundhog Day until God sees, okay, he learned the lesson. Now we can go the next step to fulfillment of his prayer. But you have to connect to God and ask him, okay, give me clarity. Help me understand what is happening. Why are things so stuck? And he will show it to you. Then you have to admit it to yourself. And then work on it. Again, this is another topic, how to respond to a prayer, how to respond to that's something that we can talk at some future, whatever. But right now, I want you to be aware of the ability you guys have at your fingertips. Literally, your wildest dreams can come true. There is no reason why not to. The only limitation is your doubt that God can do it. That is the only limitation. So my challenge is this. And that's number one. Number two is fear that causes doubt. Number three is misinterpreting the circumstances that you are in as something bad happening to you. Where actually, I was talking to, we were talking about it, like nothing bad happens to Christians. Nothing bad happens to you, ever. Every single thing that happens to you is either a reason to praise or a reason to learn something new and grow out of it. Whatever it is, might be going broke, might be going sick, might be things falling apart in your relationship, might be losing a loved one, whatever it is. All of these things are not bad inherently. You perceive them as bad. And then you're looking at me like what? Okay. You're looking at me like what? Oh, okay. Okay. But the thing is, you choose if you're going to see your circumstances as something bad that is happening to you, or as a crazy opportunity for God to do something crazy in your life, a testimony to you and to everybody else around you. But you have the ability. It's yours. It's inherently yours. You're entitled to it as a child of God. If you don't use it, sucks for you. If you use it, be ready for a freaking roller coaster, a lot of extremes in ups and downs, and a lot of emotions and fear to deal with. But the bottom line is, you live a life you dreamt of a year ago. It's possible. Laura.
I was going to say that it took me going through several hard situations in my life for me to finally start seeing them as blessings. But it took a while because I was so focused on like, this is hurting me, this is hurting the people around me, instead of what that we're learning, what is on the other side of this. And there's a season for this, and there'll be a season after.
Nothing lasts forever. Like, all we have is right now is this moment. You don't have tomorrow, you don't have past, but it will come. Next now is coming. That will be different than this one. Josh, just hit us with the last verse. Last slide. Now, I want you to carve this in your head and read it every single day this coming week. Now to him, Paul is giving praise at the end of his letter. Now to him who is able to do, read this, far more abundantly than all that we seek or even think, according to the power at work within us. Where is it happening? Within you. Not outside of you, within you. What your wildest dreams are actually a glimpse of what God can do in you, through you, and with you. It just requires you building your certainty, building your state of believing, where you know, yeah, this is happening, I'm good. Play with God. I mean, this world is a playground. Play with Him. Ask Him for small things. Practice the parking lot thing. Parking lot is a pretty cool way. Seriously, it's like I don't have any more doubts anymore about that. Like, it's kind of cool. But, huh?
Lazy.
Yeah, seriously, I go to Costco, I don't even go kind of around to see if there's, I go straight to the front, knowing that there will be an open spot.
And ask for green lights.
Yeah, you see, that's a good one. I'll try that next time. I'll try that this week. Yeah. Green lights. Yeah. Traffic lights. A green wave. Yeah. Let's see how often I'm going to catch it this week. But that's why I'm saying, like, this world is a playground that we are in. And we take it way too seriously. And with God, there is so much amusement and fun in it. We just kind of like, no, live it. Live it with God. Play with Him. Experiment. Ask. And you shall receive. Didn't work this time, try again. Wonder, if it doesn't go your way, wonder, why did it go this way? What is God teaching me by taking me in this direction? Always first attain clarity before giving up or making a next step. And the world just grows, and it's amazing. That's my challenge for you. Practice it this week and see how it goes, because this is real. Like, this statement over here is real. And your lives are all extraordinary. You just didn't tap into it. I'm tapping into it. It's freaking scary. It's very demanding. At times very confusing. Actually, all the time is very confusing because I have to stop like almost every day and like, why did this go this way? Why did that go this way? And then I wrestle with God. I might have mentioned you, like for the past 2 months, regularly, every single night, I would be awake like 2:30 to like 3:34 or so. God just literally, I believe God wakes me up. And thoughts just come like rockets. Like this. And he just like gives me ideas to think about, to pray for. That happened to me this morning. Like this morning, it was like 4:30. I just woke up and like, that's right, Peter. And walking, and I just like I got up and I sat behind my computer and I just started just typing. And it took me about 45 minutes. Literally, like what we talked about today, about 1/3 is what I was planning actually to talk about. Everything else happened in 45 minutes from like 4:30 to 5:15 a.m. this morning. I kid you not, I'm serious, I'm not kidding. Like, so this belongs to you. You can do it. And that, Philip, that prayer, that year-long prayer can be answered next week. I kid you not. If you wish, then work on it. Do your part. Okay, any questions? Excellent. That was a good rhythm. Okay. Let's give her a minute and then we can finish with a prayer.
I'll give another rhythm.
Huh? Say again?
I'll give another rhythm.
You should have done that like during the action. Yeah. Shit. Too late. I bet if you did it when she started, she would catch the rhythm. That's the kiss. That's what he said. That's what he said. Like, you heard another rhythm. Okay, you guys want us to do another prayer of presence before closing with a prayer? Cool. All right. Let's take 2 minutes. Okay. Let's take 2 minutes, and after that, let's volunteer Dickie to pray. He had the most miracles happening to him, so we'll trust him with a prayer. Okay, close your eyes, clear your hands. Feel the chair underneath you. Feel the floor underneath your feet. Breathe in. Feel your body expanding with your breath and then deflating. Don't open your eyes. Kind of look through your eyelids and look up. Look up and see the silhouette of Jesus there. Now see his smile. He has been enjoying this time as much as we have. So embrace his smile. Let your thoughts flow. Don't cling on to them. Just let them pass. But focus on his presence. Focus on his promise that whatever you ask, it is already given. Focus on the dynamics that he can do so much more than you even dream of. Let the thoughts flow away. Just see Jesus. Vicky, you want to pray?
Our Father in heaven, you are the Almighty God. Anything that we want or with the snap of a finger, you're able to do anything for us, God. We believe in you. We just have to work our faith to believe in you, God. We just have to feel the presence, your presence in our heart. Help us have that power, God. God, just I want to thank you for all the miracles that you've proven to us, but at times we doubt you, God. Forgive us for that. And we continue to make mistakes, but you are always there, God. We love you, God. And we believe in you, and we can't wait to see what you have in store for us. We can't wait to see all the miracles that you will do for us, God. Thank you, God, for guiding Milosh to help us learn your power, your miracle, your presence. I ask that you be with us throughout this week, and I ask that you continue to remind us that anything is possible through you, God. Dear Lord, thank you so much for everything. Just thank you.
Amen. It's going to be awesome. Vicky, here's a cool challenge for you.
You're teaching me with my imperfections, reaching